Okay, I would like to know a bit about what are the different types of visas.
for Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. For any country, there are actually, like, this is what I have categorized it, two categories of visa:
Mm.
temporary visa, permanent
Permanent.
visa.
Okay.
So, temporary visa is what? Like student visa, yeah, visit visa. Temporary means work visa. Temporary means ke yeah, like you are coming into my country, you're going to live there for either work or study or visit. Khatam karke, you're going back to your country of origin.
Yeah.
So that is basically called temporary visas,
Yeah.
which there is a lot of process, there's a lot of things that are there. And the second is permanent visas. Permanent visas are different categories. Like you have one of the most important categories like general skill migration visa, then you have business immigration visa,
General skill migration.
general skill migration,
Okay.
GSM.
Yeah.
Then general skill, I'll give you a brief about that, but you have general skill migration visa, you have business immigration visa, investor visa, you have spouse visa. So if someone's an Australian citizen or a resident and he gets married to somebody else outside Australia, a different nationality, which is called spouse visa. So there are different categories of spouse visa. Then you have parent visa. If you're a resident or a citizen and you want to get your parents down across, then you have parent visa. So these are different categories of permanent residency visas. There's another very important visa which people don't know about, which is called RRV, resident return visa. So that is also another category. So there are multiple types of permanent residency visas.
Okay, and tell me more about this GSM visa.
GSM is General Skilled Migration Visa, like general skilled. Whoever is a skilled applicant, like for example, engineers, IT professionals, accountants, or like small scale managers to large scale managers, or tradespeople like carpenters or cooks or chefs or mechanics. So there are various occupations. There are about 500 and something plus occupations which are available for GSM.
For GSM.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are different occupations which are basically there. They are like dance teachers or music teachers, or you have private teachers, private tuition teachers. So there are occupations which is basically how you say aam admi occupation. It's like an aam admi occupation. But Australian lingo is a bit different from our side Indian lingo. And that is where people don't understand. People don't understand that he is a simple guy who's a customer service guy who is in great demand in Australia. So these all categories where occupations are concerned, and we have to do this entire lengthy process of occupations, is basically called GSM, General Skill Migration Program.
Yeah. And what do you mean by the lingos are different?
Like I'll give you an example. Something like business mechanic.
Okay.
Like
Sounds
if
fancy, huh?
very fancy. So business mechanic is basically a guy who sets up printers or fax machines in your office. So we call it as a business mechanic.
Okay.
So terminology and a lingo is slightly different
Yeah.
compared to, like, you have corporate service manager or you have a customer service manager. So and there is a code called ANSCO code which has all the do's and don'ts of that particular occupation.
Okay.
So again, you have to be experienced in the field and to understand from that particular ANSCO what are the actual occupations that are there to be picked up. If you pick up the wrong or a little more or a little less, you would completely go wrong in your application.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there are 500 plus options.
Occupations.
Exactly.
Yes. And every occupation has a different. Now, I'll give you an example. There is something called a system analyst and a network analyst.
Okay.
A network analyst and a system analyst, there's hardly, like, I would say there's only a 1 or 2% difference.
Okay.
But if the verbiage of the job responsibility is not correctly written or selected, they will break the occupation into two parts and they will say, okay, you are a 3 years of system analyst and a 4 years of network analyst, or a 5 years of network analyst, which loses your points.
Okay.
So what we are trying to do is get 8 years of network analysts so we can claim full points.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But like example I give everyone, like a carpenter in Australia only cuts wood.
Mm.
But if you turn around, this is an example. But if you turn around and tell the carpenter, like, okay, he's cutting wood and he is also making a table, so it's called a carpenter and a joiner.
Oh.
And if you turn around and say he's cutting wood as well as he's making a cabinet, he's not a carpenter, he's a cabinet maker.
Oh.
And if he's doing it in the kitchen, he's called a kitchen cabinet maker.
Mm.
So the occupation wise, Australia is so precise and to the point. So only if you have experience in this field of knowing what to take, what are the verbages that you need to pick or take or advise the client accordingly. Like in India, a carpenter will paint the wall also for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll polish the
Anything he
things,
can
he'll
do.
paint. Exactly. So basically over there, it becomes like a handyman.
Yeah.
But here, carpenter तो बोलो जो बोलो उसको वो करेगा. So that's a difference. What is there? Like for example, if someone's running, someone's working in an office, you can't say okay, he's just doing customer service. But what we do is we pick up only the customer service part from him,
Mm.
and we only highlight the customer service part and trim the fat of anything else that he does. So we only calculate the 40 hours per week into customer service,
Service. Okay.
which basically is what Australia is looking for.
Okay.
So that's how complex,
So being precise actually makes
correct,
the
precise, complex, and to the point.
mm,
That is something which is basically what helps for people to move their applications forward or ahead.